Started recording the call.
All right, great. Out of the last several events, we have had growing interests in deeper subject matters, both technical and strategic. So we will welcome this input during the Q&A period that we have at the end of today's presentation. Some of the topics, I will try to zip through them as much of it is informational, and then it gets into some meatier topics as we're moving forward. All right. Well, just quickly, briefly about myself. My name is Anh-Tai. I'm the CEO today and one of the owners at DuroVac. I was doing field sales and sales management for the better part of 15 years until I took over the operations about 6 years ago. We are headquartered in Mississauga, Ontario, call us Toronto. Today we are proudly 30 employees and counting. Just briefly, some folks ask us sometimes why we are called Northwind Air Systems. That's our corporate name, but very much so people recognize us by our brand, DuroVac. Broadly speaking, 85% of our trade goes to the US, 14% in Canada, and the rest around the world, Australia, some in South America. In 2019, when I took over the business, I crafted the company values with our founder, Kevin Weaver. So today, it's really important for us to recognize that these are not just words on the wall, but these guide our thought processes as well as our decisions day in and day out. So quickly, we like to go through them just with during this presentation. All of our decisions are centered around family. There's a lot of family that operates still within the business and are supported by 5 core values here at DuroVac. There's honor, respect, passion, discipline, and decency. Those of you that are interested in how we define them and implement them at our company, feel free to reach out to our team, and we'll be glad to elaborate on that a little bit more. And there are several examples that we can provide also of how we use values at our company, not only to deploy projects and execute upon them, but also how we honor things such as warranties and whatnot. Moving on, very importantly so as well, nearly 10 years ago, we created our DuroVac brand promise. So it is the notion that we believe in old-fashioned reliability and that planned obsolescence is truly the enemy. And so what that means is that we're providing you all a famously tough DuroVac such that it makes your whole team happy. So in all these words, okay, all these words essentially summarizes to the point that we're trying to deliver you a famously tough vacuum to make all of your operations happy, and that is at all levels, at the supplier level, the customer level, and at the our sales network level as well. So let's transpose this to an example that's a little bit more tangible to all of us. You know, just a show of hand here using Teams. Who has purchased a piece of appliance here recently? Call it a dishwasher or fridge, and it blew up a couple days after the warranty was expired. Well, I would raise my hand myself, and just imagine what kind of, yeah, all right, Aaron, thanks, Di. You know, imagine the emotion that creates. You just shop for that piece of appliance, you acquired it in good faith, and it blows up in your face, I don't know, 3 months after the warranty. You are really, I'm going to spare the expletive, I'm getting to know all of you. So what this made us reflect on at DuroVac is that there are companies out there that design, like, they design failure into their machines, into their inventions. And that to us is a no-no. So you'll see this across your user experience with DuroVac, that we extend this notion of brand promise into our warranty and how we stand by our customers. And we really stand by our customers to determine what the root causes of certain failures are, such that we can remedy them. There are 5 key visions here at DuroVac. We're trying to build a timeless and inspiring company we are all proud to work for. We're trying to be number one and number two in our top 5 industries, that which I'll cover a little later on during this presentation. We're trying to achieve a 30% win rate for opportunities by 2030. By the way, last year we were at 21%, so we're right on track. Vision number 4 is to fulfill orders on time, smoothly, and profitably. And our 5th vision is to deliver timely and accurate financial data, such as to make financially courageous decisions. Once again, there's a lot in there to unpack. If any of you are interested in some of the more nitty-gritty details about these visions, feel free to reach out to my team or myself. Happy to engage a conversation about these. All right. So what do we do? What do we provide here at DuroVac? So we tried to summarize this together with my team to essentially 5 key buckets. But this page essentially provides you most of what we do. We do private and label OEM, which is original equipment manufacturing for of equipment. We build portable, semi-portable, and fixed or central vacuum systems. And we provide the hose, the tools, and the accessories and the spare parts for them. Okay, so simply put, let me go through that again. We design and we build industrial vacuums that are portable, semi-portable, that you can fix to the ground or not. Fixed vacuum system that you can pipe throughout your facilities. We do this and we private label it for certain companies that do their own sales and marketing. And we provide all the accessories and the spare parts for them. Simply put, that's what we do. Moving on, over the years, we've kind of grown to develop an expertise. And this is what we're growing to be known for and have a reputation for in the market. So we now are starting to go deeper into the markets of fully customized solutions, as well as engineering and design services. As mentioned throughout many of these key points in the presentation, if you have any questions about these offerings, feel free to reach out to my team. We'll be glad to engage a conversation with you. So how does this apply tangibly? So here, before we go into the actual machines that we conceive and manufacture, we're going to move into key industries that we service. This is a summary table of what we call, and this was one of our visions, our top 5 industries. These are building and construction materials, primary metals, food manufacturing, plastics, composites, and chemicals, and mining. Out of these, there are more detailed sub-markets, and as you can see them on this table, you can reference the PDF attachment that Danielle and her team provided to all of you. If you have any questions about whether we can address one of the applications, feel free to reach out to us. But in summary, these are the industries that we service. Now, when I was doing sales many, many years ago, we had about 10 to 11 industries that we service. But how did I make that decision to really narrow it down to these top 5 this is really where we are the strongest based on our data analytics. But not only that, this is where we are the strongest in the eyes of the market. So the market is asking us for our products from these industries. This is not to essentially negate or neglect the fact that there are other industries out there. We do provide solutions to other industries, but these are really the 5 where we excel at. The slide shows a little bit, just a very short summary of who we service, the types of companies we provide for, many of whom probably you are familiar with. We're very close to moving into the tangible type of machines we provide. But before going into the machines we provide, it's important for me to make a distinction, because I've heard this. We clear this out regularly when we're talking to our customers. So there's this misuse of the terms high vacuum and dust collection. And so just to be clear, the industrial vacuum systems that we design and manufacture collect dust. So technically they are dust collectors. But in the industry, dust collection systems are more pertaining to systems that are lower pressures, much higher volumes of air. They're there to design to capture airborne particulates or process-related dusts. They're usually ducted using lighter gauge ducting. They're there to provide source capture or dust control for processes, manufacturing processes. And essentially, they're much bigger systems physically. The world that we're in, DuroVac, we're considered we wrote high vacuum is because the market recognizes us as high vacuum, but actually for the vacuum nerds like myself, we are more in the medium vacuum. We can get into that a little if we ever want to have that conversation. Why do I say medium? Because we're right in the middle of full vacuum. Zero being no vacuum or atmosphere, negative 30 inches of mercury being full vacuum. We operate pretty much right down the middle, negative 15 inches of mercury, plus or minus. That's where that's our forte. So how do we define that? It's higher pressures to be able to move material, lots of sand, lots of wood, lots of whatever you present to us, lower volumes of air. Okay, so we're really usually being called upon when people call us up and say, hey, I can't find my conveyor anymore. Hey, my staircase is buried in materials. Hey, I am contracting vacuum trucks to the extent of $1 million a year. How can you help us diminish that expense? And then we applied it in many, many different ways. Okay, so it writes here long distances, multiple points of connections, high efficient separation and filtration, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so just again, as a summary, distinction, we are in the higher vacuum type of business and not in the so-called lower pressure dust collection system manufacturing. In 2000, between 2008 and 2013, now my partner worked on designing a software that would essentially take 7 or 8 questions and for us to be able to provide you a solution. So what are these? These are what we call the OSE questions, or the online selection engine questions, that consists of, when we need to find a solution for you, what are the materials? Be it wood or cement or feathers. What's the size of the cleanup problem? Are you up to your shoes or up to your waist in material? Big difference. Do you want this machine to be portable, semi-portable, central? How much hose do you need connected to it? Will it be used indoors and outdoors? What will you do with the material? There's a difference between doing general housekeeping and vacuuming up 50 pounds of material. And yesterday I was just in a conversation collecting 20 tons per hour of a given material. We got to know what we want to do with it. How many simultaneous users? Also, folks understand it by concurrent users as well. Simultaneous operators, concurrent users. The number of people that will be using the system at one given moment of time. And also another question is, how far do you want to move the material from the farthest point back to the vacuum system? So based on our 23 years now of existence, by answering these 8 fundamental questions, we can come up with a solution within seconds now using our software. And because these softwares now, I'll talk about it a little later in the presentation, are deeply connected through our technologies, we can even craft a quotation for you within minutes to a maximum of 24 hours. All right. Product overview. All right, so we provide vacuum cleaners for the industrial space. So what are those? if you go on our website or see some of our publications on LinkedIn, etc., it starts like this, the Lifetime Series. So the Lifetime Series, or LT here as we know it at the company, this is the indestructible shop vac killer. If you use shop vacs in your facilities and you're darn upset with them because the motors burn up or the filters clog up too quickly, uh, just go on the Lifetime Series page on our website and you'll find a small collection of vacuum systems that will meet your needs and just get rid of the utilizations of shop vacs. We call it the Lifetime, and we're not trying not to BS our way through this. Is literally we have customers calling us back 10 years after buying their LT to ask us, hey, should we change our filters? And our response will be, well, if it works, why change your filters? Okay. So generally speaking, they're really known to be these kind of plug and play vacuums, 110 volts. We do have a few that are three-phase, but most of these are kind of really the starting point here at DuroVac, smaller units. Moving on. We have our DVR and DVP series. These are using a combination of regen or side channel blowers or positive displacement or PD or lobe type blowers. We've designed this compact series of portable vacuums such that they are an economical, so an econo version of the next product that I'll present that is our flagship product. Okay, so these will be able to answer a lot of applications where budgets are more sensitive. And it will do material conveyance to central vacuum systems with using these little vacuum systems. And I say little respectfully. The Powerlift. The Powerlift is our flagship product. This is the product around which our technology and our design investments are made at DuroVac. We started off this product, the existence of our company hinges on this product where it has the most level of variances and configurations. And these are all pre-built into our software that I've described a little earlier. Many of the applications we cover in our top 5 industries will have the Powerlift as a starting point. If you go on our website and visit the product, it's essentially a vacuum system for plants, for industries, that is about the size of a small car. Okay, it weighs somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 pounds. It's moved around using a forklift, but it's very compact, and it can plug into your plant grid, such that it's very, very versatile within your operations. Lots of use cases, lots of applications that we can cover with this. Essentially, when we were drilling down to it, we probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 35 to 40,000 possible permutations of how we can move parts around on this system to deliver a solution. And all of this still within minutes to a day, where we can provide you a detailed quote to solve your plant issues. The elevator. The elevator is a product that was developed now 12 years ago, 12, 13 years ago, where the Powerlift that we saw previously was collecting the material in the hopper, and we were confronted now with more applications that were more, I would say, demanding in terms of the handling of the material. So a lot of our customers said, hey, do you have a Powerlift that can discharge into a super sack or into a specific type of reclaim hopper? And so we developed this unit that is quite unique on the market. I mean, I see it a little bit here and there, but in terms of how often we deliver it, I think we probably are one of the companies within the market that does this right. Okay, so it's got almost all of the configurations of the Powerlift, except due to its portable nature, it can only be so big. Okay, it does measure up to about 18 feet up in the air when it's up in its legs. So it's quite a sizable machine, even though it's called portable. This is considered the premium alternative to the Powerlift, given some of its functionalities. And lastly, in our product offerings, we have our Core Central series. This again essentially applies all of the knowledge, all of the components and the configurations that you've seen all throughout our product line, the LT, the DVR, the PL, and the EL. So this is essentially just essentially a combination, call it an IKEA set of parts or a Lego set of parts that we can put together to be able to answer very specific central vacuum needs. So the Core Central series absolutely needs to be bolted down to the ground and piped in order to be functional within your plant operations. There's a lot of folks on the call I see here, so I'm not going to take a break for questions until the end. We're almost done. I'm going to move into a couple more slides that talks about again, more marketing analytics. There was a slide that was kind of interesting for those that kind of eat up data analytics like myself. So earlier on, there was a slide about our top 5 industries and how we made that decision at the company. Well, here it is. In the first quarter, Danielle and I crunched the numbers, and we demonstrated using this chart. This is our 3-year average win rate in terms of delivering solutions. So our highest win rate market is food manufacturing, 24%. And I've been at this sales game for a long time, and gosh, if I make 10 quotes and I win a quarter of them, that's really awesome in my books. But not only that, the determination and the decision to keep these as our core top 5 industries is based on all these sales and marketing analytics. So if you work with us and we are dealing with a lead or an opportunity that falls within these categories, these industries, we will win 1 out of 5 times, if not more, because this is ticking up year by year right now. Okay. Giving you a little bit of an interesting kind of portrait. This is, again, I'm going into a segment of the presentation where I consider these a little bit more like cheat sheets. So if you are curious about our products or have an application that you're thinking about or budgeting for your facilities, you can consult these latter slides, slide 21 and onwards, as cheat sheets. So ever wonder about budget? Well, these are some of the budget ranges for our vacuum systems. Okay, and these are equipment only. It doesn't come with all the accessories and the bells and whistles. Moving on, again, we have a series of these consultation or cheat sheet. If ever, this is again based on our CRM data analytics. Depending on the industry that you fall under or you work with, what type of products are most likely to be quoted and supplied. Okay. Moving on, the same thing, some technical specifications. So just a summary of a lot of our data sheets and information that's readily available on the web. This is, again, the range from LT all the way to the central vacs. And same here, just a summary again of technical specifications of how our systems are put together. So slide again, 21 all the way to 26. We'll be able to give you a guide on how to select a vacuum system here at DuroVac. The last 2 slides before we move on to Q&A are kind of important. When should we walk away? Okay, so we've put some word clouds here, sorry, of what we do get called upon every day, but we turn down. So when we're confronted with water, when we're confronted with sludge, when we're asked about hot materials or embers, slurries, wastewater, not in our top 5 industries, solvents, commercial or residential, 50 operators or more, I'll put a little caveat to that. We do supply systems, but they're really few and far between. These 50+ operator machines, again, we said it in there, some of the other bubbles, water, sludge, slurry, liquids in general, oil and coolant, grease, okay? Again, I myself have done sales. I've got a sales team in our company now. They'll raise their hand and say, hey, but Anti, like, can we do water and can we do liquids? The answer is yes. But do we do it here at DuroVac? The answer is most likely no. Lastly, nice summary slide that we've prepared here. You know, in identifying some of the key applications, whether you are hailing more from the industry or you work with a consulting firm or you're one of the distributors or dealers, the common facility pain points that we are seeing now based on analytics are plants are short-staffed, people are overworked, a lot of the cleanup jobs still in 2025 are manually done, shovel and broom. And not only that, there's a health and safety concern now because sometimes they put themselves in harm's way. So some of the pain points that we resolve using our systems, we have several cases of diminishing vacuum truck expenses from contractors, throwing away their shovels and brooms. Some of the use cases, for instance, if you think about pit cleaning, spill cleanup under the conveyors, hard to reach processing machines, general housekeeping, NFPA and OSHA compliance. Okay, so just as a little bit of a summary slide here. So on this, we're 30 minutes in. I'm really glad that we got through this really 30,000 foot view of what we do and how we do it. And we're going to go into our Q&A period to see if anybody, through your show of hand, have any questions. Feel free to, Danielle's going to be managing the mics here and taking us through it. So feel free. Thanks for your attention to the presentation. Any questions, feel free to raise your hand. Oh,
there must be questions from the audience.
I saw Chris on the call. Chris, I'm surprised you don't have a question for me, Chris. Right. Well, hey, look, I guess it was crystal clear, the presentation.
So I guess then maybe a question that I would ask Anti, or to the audience, I should say, is there anybody who has any particular applications that you're looking for industrial vacuum solutions for at this time? Or is there anybody who's got questions about, hey, you know, I think it's, you know, vacuum, but it might be dust collection. I mean, now's the time. We've got our industry expert here, Anti, that we can certainly pick his brain while everyone's on the call. There's no bad questions.
I may even add there's many industry experts now that I look at the attendees. So yes, if you have any questions, if you work for a plant or you work in the industry or you have a client, you're a consulting firm, and you have a head scratching kind of application, yeah, do ask them. It'd be great to share this kind of information with everybody else.
Okay, Chris Schnetzer asked, are there any new products in development?
Yes, we always do. Thanks, Chris, for your question. We have a vacuum box in development right now. It's already year designed, and we are about to launch it for 2026.
Also, I see Dan, you can unmute if you want. Certainly we got some questions, or I guess your question you typed in the box is, what are the classifications can we meet? So what classifications?
Oh, classifications.
Well, I'm thinking about area classifications in general.
So yeah, it's a great question. Because so if it's area classification, bare bone. What we do a lot every day is class 2 div 2, call it combustible dust. That as soon as you meet that, you meet a lot of other criteria that are below that. We have definitely delivered systems that are class 2 div 1, so explosion proof. And we've also gone into class 1 div 1. We've done a couple oil and gas projects that were class 1 div 1.
And in that class 1 div 1 classification, do you have to have the receiver would be outside, or do you use some type of FIC system? Or
we absolutely need to have compliant equipment. Now, this is very much a collaboration with the plant, because that area classification of class 1 division 1, I would say there are plant interpretations and also implementations. So we may deem a component and instrument being NEMA 79 to be meeting the classification, but the plant may go above and beyond that or have their own spec. So we very much work with the spec. If the equipment is inside a classification area, then everything that goes towards its design, engineering, and manufacturing needs to meet that classification. As soon as we move it out of that area, then we can maybe have the opportunity to downgrade the classification to maybe a class 2 div 1 and maybe a class 2 div 2 to save on the expense of the equipment as well.
Okay, Anti, it looks like, I don't know if, Dan, does that answer all your questions, or do you have a few more?
no, that's good. Thank you very much.
No problem. Chris has got a question in the audience that he wants to know if there's been any changes made to the warranty, and noted that it used to cover parts and freight. And also he has a question about what the capabilities are for testing.
Thanks for your question, Chris. There are no changes to the warranty. So for those that are new to DuroVac, our bag filters are guaranteed 2 years. Our cartridge filters are guaranteed 1 year. Bumper to bumper, 1 year warranty on our systems. And it does cover parts and freight should it be on us. Now, so let me just button that. Yes, Chris, our warranty covers parts and freight towards to the end user site. And always say that with a little bit of an asterisk. If people set our machine on fire, then if that is the case, we will ship parts expeditively, but those parts will be covered by the customer. What are the capabilities for testing? A little bit of a broad question, but I'll try to answer it in 2 of my understandings of what testing is. If it's material testing, we do not do material testing for combustibility. That is outsourced off to third parties. There are multiple laboratories in North America that will do that. If it's metal testing for our machines, we obtain metal certificates from our fabricators. If it's system capabilities testing, so we have 2 kind of levels for that. We do in our engineering services, we do a control narrative and functional description package today, where we pretty much define how the system needs to be operated and controlled. And then we write an ITP, which is an inspection test plan for when the machine is delivered. Okay. And within the framework of our standards, we have our own startup checklist in our production at the tail end of our production process. So this is just essentially checking all of the functionalities as the system was designed for, and making sure that there are validations and control points within our standards and our quality. Great questions. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Chris.
Any other questions? A very quiet audience today, Anti, but it's still fantastic. So
that's okay. No
I have
problem.
a question.
Absolutely.
So some of our customers like to see like a demo unit, and I was curious what types of demo units you currently have available.
Rental units. We had a demo unit and a rental fleet up until last year. but we've sunsetted that program for a number of health and safety reasons. And actually, our network now of we call them sales partners. Some folks call them distributors or dealers. Now have access to that, and some of whom have built a pretty sizable fleet of equipment. So right now, we do not carry a fleet of demos and rentals, but our sales partner network does. Okay, so if ever any of your customers, Aaron, or anybody else within your organization, your network requires a demo or a rental, we can tap into our network to see if we can get one of those dispatched.
Thank you.
Great question. Oh, Chris says, what is Kevin up to? Kevin's my, I would like to call him my mentor. He's also my business partner today. Right this moment, Chris, Kevin's in China. He's traveling. He's retired. He's probably got his sunglasses on, although it's midnight right now, so he's probably getting ready to go to bed. But yeah, he's living the dream, I guess. He built up the company and then handed it off to me 6 years ago, and yeah, still is involved. He participates in some of what we call the primary inventions and design meetings that we have at the company, namely about what you were asking about product development. Right, so he's involved in primary invention and design.
Any other questions today from the group? Anh-Tai, any closing remarks you have or any questions you'd like to pose to the group?
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for your time, checking in and having interest in this. This is a very niche market, and I'm very actually pleasantly surprised that we have such a good audience today. And stay put, stay tuned. Danielle and Krista will be broadcasting some more seminars and presentations about more technical topics. So stay tuned, be on the lookout for that, and thank you for your time today.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a great day and enjoy your lunch.
Thank you.
Have a great day, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Guys.